Yeah. Goddamn, she got hella patience. Was on my grind, barely paper chasing. I hope your girls don't say I keep you waiting. 89, I know that time is ticking. Long as the motherfuckers know you're taking, then we gon' fly someplace and get the bacon. Or we gon' get this shit and get the baiting. No, we gon' run this shit, there's no debating.
You know, we out here. Alright, well, welcome to the kitchen table. My name is Quise. I'm going to be your host for today. It's going to be a long form interview style show, and this is just meant to kind of understand what your creative process is and more of the behind the scenes work of what a creative goes through. Because oftentimes we see the finished product, but normally we don't get to hear what were the lessons learned, right? What was the process like for you? Right. Were you modeling yourself after anybody and stuff like that? So I really kind of wanted to get to know who you are, but then also what's your creative process and everything that you learned from it.
Word.
All right.
Word. Sounds good.
Yeah. So first things first, who are you?
All right. Aikeem Vill. I'm an artist first. Always been an artist as long as I can remember. I'm an audio creator. I'm a poet, if you will, music connoisseur. I like to think of myself as somebody who is trying to be an activist, you know, as well, and make something with substance and also like have an impact.
Right.
Yeah.
And you said a lot in there, which I'm gonna lean into a little bit as the interview goes on.
Right.
But my first thing is starting from the beginning. Like, what was your start in music? Like, what was your inspiration?
Gotcha. Oh yeah. So this is a funny story. So when I was like growing up, like as a teenager, I never like believed or thought I could do something that wasn't like traditional. Like I remember being like in college, I was like around 19, 20 at the time, just hanging out with my friends because you know we listened to rap heavy, so we was getting into rap super heavy, listening to like the Big Sean mixtapes, the Wale mixtapes, the Kendrick mixtapes and shit like that, like really listening to lyrics. And my friend of a friend, actually was in a group, and he was rapping. He rapped for us one time, and that was like the first time I heard somebody rap in person. I was like, damn, you really talented, man. And I thought that, if you really pursue that shit, because we were like 18, we're young as shit, so like if you pursue it and stay on your shit, you could get somewhere with this shit. Right. We didn't even know that you could rap.
And you started this later in life? You said you were 18 when you started?
This is at the time. When I started, when I made a decision, because even at that time, I didn't even like make a decision that I wanted to rap yet. Right. I still was like just that kid that was in school. I was a sophomore in college at the time. Just like, pursuing writing. Like I was taking journalism at the time and shit.
Good stuff.
Yeah, so like just pursuing that just on my P's and Q's, I had a conversation with my pops. Set to go to school and shit. So like, I'm in school doing what I gotta do.
I was gonna say, how was that? Like, was there a cultural aspect to it too? Can you talk about your background?
It's absolutely a cultural aspect of it. Just like, we gotta finish that conversation first before I go into the cultural thing. That's another piece. Let me finish this, because I'm not gonna kind of go off.
I understand. I'm gonna go back.
All right. So with that, I heard him rap, and I was like, damn, you dope. I thought to myself, like, you can go some places with this, and then like just progress. I became that friend that was working, so I was like paying for studio sessions for him because I really believed in that shit. I was like, yo, y'all keep making music, y'all can make a hit song, like y'all can be the fuck out of here, and I'm just helping y'all support y'all, get to y'all dreams and shit. Because if you want to play basketball and there's no court for you to shoot the ball, like how you gonna practice, how you gonna get better. So my idea was like, let's record music, let's help you get better. It wasn't until like, it just kind of progressed. I'm just with them. I'm like, yo, I'm a writer. Why don't I like start writing? I always believed in my writing skills since I was like in 3rd grade. And when I decided to put my pen, against like, write some raps, like I was like super hard on myself with the raps, and like, we listened to Joey Badass, we listened to like people that's really spit, putting words together. So I'm like, I got all this pressure on me, so I used to take a minute to write words for my rap and shit. But it wasn't until I was like, I think I was like 20 years old when I decided I'm gonna do this shit.
Right.
I remember it was like the summertime of 2014. It was like 2014. I was like 20 years old, and I decided to really pursue that shit and commit myself. And it's crazy. It's a funny story. My cousin actually was the one that like I started rapping to first. Actually, pretty sad story. He passed away like a week after like I started rapping, and I had told him that that's what I wanted to do. And that's like something that like I promised myself like right after he passed away that this is something I would stick with and not fucking quit. So yeah, this is a part of like the motivation behind it as well. Even like learning how to engineer and do other shit and take my time before I put out a project, because it's 2020 and I'm just now starting to have people listen to my shit, you know what I'm saying? Because I literally just put out a project a couple months ago. My first actual project, and it's all been a lot of shit in the making to get to that point, you know what I'm saying? You know, finishing college and doing all this other shit, you know? No, that's going on a tangent because I haven't had a fucking interview since my project, so there's a lot of shit to talk about.
And that's perfectly fine. I appreciate you even like opening up with what you were opening up with too, right? So even then, I want to talk about, you mentioned how you are starting to have, you're doing the engineering, you're doing producing, the marketing, you're writing, you're rapping. What is that process like for you? Because now you're wearing multiple hats. How's that kind of pressure different for you as an artist?
That shit's like really crazy, man. Like I feel like sometimes like, and I engineer and I don't engineer anybody other than myself. Because that's just a whole nother lane of like, you know, tedious work, which I'm like not trying to take away from my creativity. But as far as me engineering people, most of the people I collaborate with, I record them. And like, I'm in there being an engineer, and like I'm also trying to be an artist, so it's also like a balance of like, you know, being this person that's like keen in on recording and mixing, and this person who's like creating the music and like producing it, you know what I'm saying? So it's a lot to where, you know, it's interesting though. But I wouldn't have it any other way because I'm like really specific with like the sound I want, and I'm really anal on getting how I want it to sound.
Well, I was gonna say, like, I noticed that even with your project too, like, I think you probably have some of the most seamless transitions, and like, it was such an easy listen for me, like, as I was going through it. So I want to talk about a little bit more into that creative process. Like, what was that inciting moment that you were just like, all right, the Villagers Asylum is what I want to do. So can you talk me through that creative process and what inspired that particular title?
Absolutely. The Villagers Asylum, honestly, I'm a fan of conceptual work. I'm a huge fan of conceptual work. I want a project to sound like this makes sense. This whole body of work makes sense with each other.
I guess that also makes sense because you said Wale, you said Kendrick, Joey Badass, so the artists you're talking about.
Yeah, like
conceptual
that's exactly. I'm very conceptual in a way where it's like I think of making music like making film. You know what I'm saying? Like you're beginning, like you want it to tie together, like what you're listening to, because I feel like it's just an audio film, if you will, like which is like an oxymoron and shit, but.
I know what you mean. It's like a visual that you get with the sonic.
I want you to sonically sort of perceive what I'm talking about and kind of like just, you know, make that vision for yourself, you know, based on the lyrics. But you said like the process of like how the Villagers Asylum came up.
Yeah, so what was that first moment where you're like, this makes sense?
Man, the Villagers Asylum, it kind of just based off of my name too, like Aikeem Vill. Vill is really short for village. The village has always been a thing that was like stuck with me since like 2014 when I was talking to my homie like, yo, what's gonna be my name? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's gonna be my rap name and shit? Like, a lot of y'all don't know, like my first name like is Joe. You know what I'm saying? Like,
what?
My middle name is Aikeem.
I didn't realize that.
So I went,
Oh, you put a Rihanna on this.
Exactly.
Robin.
Exactly. So I had and it's Aikeem Vill. I wanted it to be like village, and like it was something else that I was like, and I dropped the E because like Aikeem Vill, I wasn't like, it was like a Dreamville thing too. I wasn't trying to like do Vill like the E, like I just dropped the E. Plus it's village. So like if you spell it out, it doesn't end with an E.
Right.
And then just like where I'm from too, you gotta kind of take it back to, you know, me literally being from, you know, West Africa and being born, you know, or being raised on a refugee camp until I was like 4 years old.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And actually experiencing the village. You know what I'm saying? So when I say the village is more so like it's homage, paying homage to like, you know, some of my influences. You know, like Slum Village. It's really that, and also like just, you know, where I'm from, like my heritage. You know, it's like influence and like rap homage, and also like heritage kind of meshed together.
Right, and I can appreciate that too. Just because for you as an artist, like I know you're very keen. Like here's your attention to detail. Here's what this look like.
Yeah.
So that's where I wanted to kind of even guide into a little bit more. Is like how has your cultural background played into the sound that you use? And start with that because I'll have a follow right after that.
Yeah. I'm trying to actually play more into like my cultural background as far as like the music, the sound that I want to create. I want to make more Afro-inspired type music. But as far as like culturally speaking, I grew up on the names that I mentioned to you.
Right.
The hip hop's been heavily influenced in my like my gene, my DNA.
Right.
So that's something that I like. I studied that. You know what I'm saying? Before I started rapping at 20, I took 6 months out. It's crazy. A lot of people don't notice. Like I literally wrote a list of like 100 or like 150 like artists, and I went back and I listened to all of their music. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking about from like Roxanne to Quise to like EPMD to like, you know, Rakim. I'm listening to every single song. You feel me? Like just kind of, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm here long term. I'm not here for like, you know, this is not a quick thing for me. Like I'm here for the long term of this shit.
Right.
So, and like, I just wanted to really be a student of the game and like not have any history that like I'm missing out on because it can take a lot.
And I think that was key right there. I think that's the important part is being a student of the game.
Yeah.
I think oftentimes today it's that quick single, like let me get this. It's a microwave culture.
Right.
So that's what I appreciated because like for your project, I found it to be very refreshing because now it's taking me time to have to think through each one from start to end. I think even you starting off like with your background, it's already political as it is.
Yeah.
You already have a very unique situation, especially when you come into America and you're growing up off of this, but then you have that duality of your cultures.
And Asylum too. We didn't talk about Asylum.
Right.
Political Asylum.
Exactly.
Kind of similar to what we kind of talked about before. So that's really where it came from, the village of Asylum. Because I came here on refugee status, essentially, which is kind of mirrors that.
Right. And that's what I wanted to go into is like, you started off your project with Asada Shakur.
For sure.
So can you tell me what that was?
Man.
You set the tone for your project with that.
Fuck yeah, like, yo, Asada Shakur, man, like, one of my biggest inspirations is Tupac Shakur. Not one of, literally, the biggest inspiration.
Right.
Like, literally, I feel like when I listen to him, like, I feel my spirit, like, within him.
Yeah.
Like, that's just that level of inspiration for me. And just like wanting to capture like a lot of what he had as far as like, you know, his mentality, his fearlessness, and Asada Shakur. I think it's really important to focus on how women has impacted this shit too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Especially like I'm making music, and a lot of times my audience is like, my audience is females, women. So like, I feel like I couldn't find a better person to like open up my project, you know, than someone who's like such a heralded figure, you know, for me personally, just sticking to her, like her core values and shit, and like, you know, just being like, you know, being everything that you want to aspire to be like for real as a black woman.
That was like crucial because I think it was like the easiest transition right into your track where you're actually spitting, and it's almost like kind of like an ode to black women.
No, for
which
sure.
I thought was like, oh, that's perfect into that. So how is that too? Because now I know you tweeted a couple times about like, your music is particular to black women because that's who your audience is. So how is that process like writing, I guess, for black women?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't want to, I say my music is really like, it's from me, right?
Right.
And I guess you can say like, what I'm attracted to, my aura is black women, right? That's what I try to like highlight, you know, even with the song with Kelly Rowland, it was just a thing where it's like in the media, even until this day, this shit is like, it's not portrayed like on an equal playing field. So I made it that attention to get all brown skinned girls.
I was about to say, because you really,
Right.
especially
like,
Kelly Rowland, that's very particular.
Even like the videographer, this is very important to me to like not call myself somebody who's like trying to like, you know, I don't even know what you want to call it, to be honest with you. I don't want to be that person that's like, oh, I'm here like, you know, super like, you know.
No, it's not.
I'm just an artist that's like appreciating stuff that I think needs to be valued. Because to be honest with you, it all stems back from me not, you know, really growing up with my mother,
right.
Like having that relationship with her and just having that like feeling to like empower women like when I can. Because I really do appreciate women.
Right.
Like,
and I would say, like, even to kind of even lean into that idea of appreciating women even more is you ended up throwing an album release party. So one, talk us through that process, but two, how did you make that release party something that still catered to your demographic that you knew was coming in?
Yeah.
And talk about that, because I think sometimes we're like, all right, here's our audience. But then we don't curate experiences for them because we try to be very just general, like this is for everybody, we want everybody to take it. But then when you have that moment where you're interacting with black women, where there are things there, because I remember talking to you about your process and getting into that.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about that. The process of that, honestly, I wanted the people that was there, you know, working at the venue, like, you know, the DJs to like the person like serving everything like that. I wanted it to be like females. And that's what I got. I think the music, you know, for me, the venue, like it was an art exhibit, which was, I think, pretty dope. And the artists that they had like out at the time, I believe it was like just like black painters, really dope. Had some really dope pieces on the wall, which is also like kind of just blended into like what I was, you know, doing. It's like I couldn't even like plan this shit. So that was pretty dope. And I think experience-wise, just I really treated it like a regular like party, to be honest. It wasn't anything too specific. I had a lot going on, as you can imagine. I had to upload my project like that night. So like, on some like nut shit. Bro, you gotta understand, like it's just me. Like it's just Aikeem Vill, and I'm having these ideas. Oh, I want to throw a fucking party. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to have a release party. It's like it's just me. Like I'm still trying to finish something.
No, that's a fact.
The last like literally my mom recording at the end, my mom's outro. I literally put that shit together like within the 10 minutes before I uploaded that shit. Like I'm just like, damn, this is like. I got Satsa's intro, like, am I just gonna like leave it like that? I gotta have my mom close this shit. Like,
no, and that makes sense. I love it because you took it from like, here's the macro idea of it, and then you brought it back home to like where you were at too. So I thought that was like, that's why I really appreciated the project. Was like even the flow of going into each piece, like it was an easy transition. But it was a good bookend too. So I got my opening, I got my closing, and I thought that was probably super fire about it. But even then, like, we talk about the creative process, we talk about all this stuff. What are some things you ended up learning? So talk about things that you think could have went better, things that didn't go as well as you thought, and then what you're going to prepare for as you call it, Act 2.
It's a lot. I think the main thing is, I'll put this out there before I even start talking. The main thing is to follow it. Like, if you got an idea, just go after it, right? It's gonna be problems, it's gonna be challenges, but just pursue that shit. So I'll put it out there, because a lot of times you talk about the negative aspect of it, people won't necessarily be like, oh, maybe I should wait. I think it's important. Planning is everything, You know, you fail to make a plan, you plan to fail. So I think just organization, you know, which is, you know, not my strongest suit, to be honest with you. Not just being in the studio, but like also organizing, like, okay, maybe we should do a rollout. You know, as an artist and someone like myself who like, you know, I've been doing this shit for a minute, you might just hear it from me, but like I've been learning this shit for a minute, so I know I'm great and everything, you know, there's no doubts within my heart. But you still gotta like strategize and be like, how you gonna roll this shit out? You gotta be strategic about it, right? Strategy is really important. I think that's something that I'm definitely going to change up on the next project. Like have an actual rollout, have people anticipate it in a way, because like my last go round, I was basically just in the studio and just like, oh, here's a song on the project. Here's a song I'm playing on the project, which is like I was getting feedback from people. I'm like, oh shit, they fucking with this one. They like this.
Yeah, how was that?
It was good
feedback. Like, are you okay with critique?
Man,
do you have other people listening before?
Bruh, the only time I don't like critique is, honestly, I like critique anytime, but I would prefer critique when I'm creating. Like, come to the studio, rock out with me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If you're like somebody that's like, you know, not like someone like I aspire to be like in my lane, like, don't critique it after it's out. You know what I'm saying? I invite you to come out and give your.
I remember you were always giving advice, like you up on.
Yeah, exactly. I'm always like, I'm in the studio if y'all want to hear some shit. Y'all want to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want people to give input because it might be some things that I'm like, you know, I might feel I'm a great artist or I'm putting things together well, but at the end of the day, it's just me kind of listening back on it and like, you know, am I going to take myself for, you know, other people's like, you know, perspectives? It's music that I don't listen to, that other people listen to, that I can be influenced by to, you know, have other fans kind of like the shit I'm trying to create as well.
And I know now we're in a space where sometimes people look at collaboration and there's like, I don't know if I want to do that, especially as rappers, because that's very much so like you have to at least have some type of pen in order to do that. So what are your ideas on collaboration in terms of either creating your music? Because I know you said you did everything alone. Are you open to collaboration for like the next project?
I had 2 people on my project, actually 3.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, I had
Ime.
and I had I think she's M.E. Her name's Emily. She was on it. We recorded that. Honestly, that was recorded like in her basement.
Oh,
believe it or not, like literally makeshift. Like I had brought my shit, my backpack, brought my little mic, no treatment whatsoever, in a basement. Her dog's upstairs, like they're just going up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just like we just got it together. Like literally, it was the most like unideal environment to like create a song, but like got her vocals. Like I feel like I could have got her vocals in the jungle, it would have sounded good. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because she's just really that talented.
That's fire.
And I had one of my homies in New Jersey, Angelo, he's dope, who opened up really the project for her. Like he just set the tone. I was like, yo, I gotta keep this shit.
Nah, that's
on First John. So like, and then I got my homie Dizion, which is dope. You know, these are all people that I'm like inspired by. People that I collaborate with. I'm inspired. You know what I'm saying? Like your music, I listen to your music for real. Right. You know what I'm saying? I'm a fan. Like I'm not just, yo, let's collaborate. You know what I'm saying? I'm an actual fan. I play your music before I even want you on my project. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like some real shit.
And it's kind of understanding like your energy is going back and forth too. Just like, all right, like I don't know if we'll be good for this project, but maybe like the next project. Yeah. Like that.
Yes. I mean, like with me and Dizion, we had like probably 4 songs that we did for real. Yeah. Like, but was all of it meant for the Villagers Asylum? Right. Nah.
Are we ever gonna get tease? Maybe like a
free? Of course. I mean, of course. Like, I'm really hard on myself as far as like putting music out, man. And like, mind you, I'm like the timing. The time I wanted to drop, it was my birthday, you know, on the 12th, and I just didn't have really enough time to like go back, and there was some songs that I just couldn't turn my vocals. I couldn't write my shit to it because I'm like too busy trying to orchestrate everything else. I'm like, I'm gonna give myself enough time to be a creator too. Like I can't short myself. I can't just just squeeze this shit in real quick. Yeah. Get behind it, just write anything. Get it out. You know what I'm saying? Like no, I'm gonna take my time with it and like get these lyrics out and make it feel like I want it to feel. I'm just not gonna short myself or shorten anybody else that's listening to my music. Right.
And I guess just to start wrapping up this interview a little bit, what is some advice you would give yourself in the beginning, once again, and then I'll ask you about Act 2 a little bit.
For sure. Yeah. Some advice that I would give myself in the beginning is get started. Stop being like, you know, like, man, stop being like so hard on yourself. Really just start doing something. Just start making the songs, making the music. Because literally, when my biggest songs right now, bro, is literally Exit, and like how I created Exit, I was just pissed off that I didn't have anything out.
Yeah.
Like I created Exit like in 2018. I didn't put it out. Like I had put a song out. Yeah, Exit was created. Exit and like what's another song? I don't remember, but Exit. Exit. I did like Exit and Alone. It's not Alone's not on the project. It's on SoundCloud, but I put it on SoundCloud. I put Exit on SoundCloud actually. And like I was like, all right, it's a good song, but it's SoundCloud. It's like I got 10 followers and some shit like that.
Yeah.
But like I knew it was a good song, just like based off of like some feedback I got off of it. But I literally, you know, kind of going back to your question, like I would tell myself to just, you know, fucking do it. You know what I'm saying? Because I had the skills, I had the talent, I had the knowledge. Like I had the pen, you know. But like apply yourself to it. You know what I'm saying? Don't really be waiting for it.
Right.
You know. Yeah. And that's kind of how I move now. I try to be more like, yo, gotta go down. People don't know where that comes from. It's like, no, because like I've been trying to do this shit since like 2015.
Right.
Like, I gotta get shit popping. And you know what's crazy? I think in the back of my head, I had gave myself like a timeline to like, you know, people I aspired to be like, you know, like people I was influenced by, like Kanye West and Cole. I always look at their like timeline, like when they got their deal, like when they put out their first like studio album, which was all around like 26, 27. I'm like, all right, I gotta at least get, you know what I'm saying, some shit by then. I gotta like be popping like by then. So I always kind of gave myself, I'm like 20, 21, you know, 22 goes by and shit. Like 23 goes by. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, I'm waking up like, damn, I'm 24 in this bitch. I got 2 years. You guys are damn. I gotta start right. So I wrote Exit. Like Exit was like just the perfect song for real. I actually I went to the studio, I booked a 10-hour studio session.
Yeah.
Recorded that. I recorded a couple songs the main song I went there to record that took the longest time. It's a song you're probably never gonna hear like ever. Which is crazy.
Hopefully at some point.
No, it's not that great.
You know, we all start somewhere, bro.
Exactly. It was like my warm-up.
That's the point of this. That's the point of this.
It was my warm-up, you're right.
Oh, you can see, you might have just found it. The warm-up. Yo.
Hey.
You're mine.
Hey. Fuck with it.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, like, can we get any idea of what's going to come for Act 2?
Yeah.
Are you assembling a team? Are there people you're hoping to collaborate with? What's your rollout going to look like?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
We're going to see it on the Village Brown at all.
We gotta get the Village Brown and pop, for real. Yo, that grew. That grew fast and shit. That literally, I started that page like in December?
You literally just started that page probably just before you.
You remember when I like posted like, should I make a fucking
lifestyle page like John?
Yo, that shit like almost is creeping up to like my actual page now.
Yeah, like that grew so fast. And I guess that's another conversation we'll have.
Yeah, that's another thing. But I feel good because like, I just need to express myself sometimes. I'm just like, I just need to write some shit and put it out. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't necessarily have to be a song or anything, because sometimes I make songs like so like this big thing, like I gotta sit down in the studio, I gotta do this. But like when I'm writing for that page, I'm just like, fuck it. I'm like on a train and like I'm just on some shit.
That's really dope.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. Nah, because I appreciate just going to that page because I'm just like, wow, it's aesthetically pleasing, but it's also dope because that's like an extension of yourself, and that's an extension of your brand. For sure. And so when I see that, I'm just like, this is something different that I didn't see other artists like doing necessarily. Is like, here is something separate of just me. Here is a little bit more of an intimate version of who I am, which I thought was really cool because that's something that I'll buy into your brand even more. That's something I always look for in an artist or creative. It's just like, how are you? You can make music, but how are you executing differently? How is your attack point different? But then also, how are you utilizing social media too? Because that's an important concept. And sometimes I'm like, I know some artists who take social media and use it as like, here is just the artist version of me. Some people create like an alternate person. Like a different personality and stuff. So I was like, oh, that's cool because this is your collective. In my mind, it's like, here's your ode to Black people. On that
facts. The Village Brown is a community. Like, and I'm trying to encourage people to be more like, feel like they can comment on shit. You don't just gotta like it, comment.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I always make posts like, you know, how do you feel like in my stories and shit like that? I just want people to feel like anybody that comes to that page, they can and go to them for advice or
Right.
information or shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's too much of us to like not share information.
Yeah, you know, people stingy with their knowledge.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's it's a free page. Just connect with people.
Yeah.
Like I'm like advertise your business. I don't give a
What you
fuck. What am I? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Nah, I bangs with that a lot. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of your work.
Appreciate
I'm a
it.
huge fan of the project.
Thank you.
Make sure now we just hit that time. But yeah, that's where I stream all of my music because I'm like they pay the artist the most on that
It's not
platform.
0.000.
You know, it's a little above that. You might have 0.0 or something.
I feel you.
But yeah, just let the listeners know like where they can find you.
Yeah, Aikeem Vill, Aikeem Vill, on really all platforms, Instagram, Twitter. Instagram is like the main place you can reach me, but my music is on pretty much every streaming platform. And it's just Aikeem Vill.
Alright.
Yeah,
Appreciate having you.
It was a pleasure, bro. Appreciate
What's
you.
that?
Thank you. This couldn't have a better interview.
That's a fact. Thanks for starting us off.
Yes, sir. It's a good show.
All right, the plan works. The plan works.
It's a lot. It's a lot to unpack. If you
All right.
just for finding me purposes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Wait, did you say you want another camera to get like more like tight angles? Should I get a camera?
Oh yeah.